I'm now on the bottom of page 31. What it's going to look like when you're finished is this, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it and work them out with you. Number one, I see that this is a multiplication problem. It's negative 6x equals 48. So since this is a multiplication problem, I know that to get rid, I've got to get rid of that 6, that negative 6 there. So to get rid of that 6, I need to get a 1 as the coefficient for that variable x. I have to divide that by a negative 6. So I'm going to have to divide it by the exact same thing that's in front of it so I can get a 1, because I know that the identity property of multiplication says that multiplying something by 1 gives you itself, so dividing something by itself is going to give you 1. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. And I know that I have a negative 6 divided by a negative 6. I'm going to have a 1, which means I'm just going to be left with the x. I'm not going to put a 1x. And here I have 48 divided by negative 6, excuse me. I know that a positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative. And 48 divided by 6 is going to be 8. So my answer is negative 8. X equals negative 8. I'm then going to check this. When I check it, I have to substitute this, what my variable is equal to, what I find that it is equal to, back into my original problem. So it would be negative 6x, and that's going to be negative 6 times a negative 8. Make sure that when you do this, you just don't write in the number that you had before. You really need to actually do this problem, excuse me, so that you can make sure that's correct. So negative 6 times negative 8. I know a negative times a negative is a positive, and 6 times 8 is 48, and that is what I started off with, so that's going to check out. Okay, my second problem is negative 60 equals negative 5a. So I have flipped my sides. My variable is now going to be on my right side. Once again, this is a multiplication problem. I know I have to get that negative 5 off that a. And to be able to do that, I need to divide by a negative 5. And if I do it to this side to keep the equation balanced, I'm going to have to do the same thing to this side. When I do that, I then can divide through. I know that negative 5 divided by negative 5 is going to be a positive 1. And so I'm just going to be left with that a, that variable. I know that negative 60 divided by negative 5, I know a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So then I just look at 60 divided by 5, and that's going to be 12. And then I'm going to check this. I'm going to write my original problem, negative 5a. I'm going to substitute back in. So negative 5 times 12, which is what I found a to equal. Negative 5 times 12 is going to be negative 60. And that's what I started off with. So that one also checks out. Number 3 is 9 equals w divided by 7. This time I have a division problem, so I'm going to have to use the multiplication property of equality. To get rid of that 7, I've got to multiply this by a 7. Because once again, this is kind of like looking at this is 1/7. To get rid of that, I multiply it by a 7. So I'm going to multiply this. And you can think about this as multiplied by 7 over 1. And then these will cancel out. But I know that 7 over the 1 is the same thing as 7 wholes. So here I'm just going to multiply by 7 wholes. And so I get 7 times 9 is 63. I'm left here with a w and a 1. I know w over 1 would be just W. So my answer is W equals 63 or 63 equals W. To check this, I need to substitute back into that original problem, which I know will be 63 divided by 7. And I know that 63 divided by 7, they're both positive, so it's going to be a positive answer. It's going to be 9. Okay? And the last practice problem that I have on this page is y over 2 equals 13. So I want you to pause this, try this problem in pencil, and then come back and see the way that I solve it. Okay, so what I did is, I know this is a division problem. To be able to get rid of that, I have to multiply it by, and it's pretty much multiplied by 2 over 1, but I'm just going to write 2 wholes this time. And I do the same thing to my left-hand side, 13 times 2. I'm getting rid of this 1/2 that this pretty much is. My 2's are going to cancel out, so I have a y that I'm left with equals, and then 13 times 2 is going to be a 26. I have to now check this. Y over 2, or y basically over 2. We're going to substitute back in. We found that y is 26, so 26 divided by 2. I know that's going to be 26 divided by 2 is going to be 13, and I start off with 13, and so it checks out. Now, what I would want you to do is I want you to work on the problems on page 32. I'm taking a picture of it and put it in this blend space. This is what it looks like. And once again, this is what this whole page looks like. If there's anything you need to go back and get. If you are having difficulties, we'll go over this in the morning. And just make notes. You can put Post-its on there. You can just write notes and pencils if there's something that you want me to go over. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later.